What's going on, traders? Welcome to Start Swing Trade. It's time to take a look at the market. I know a lot of you guys are hiding underneath your desks, so it's okay. It's time to come out and take a look at the damage that has been done. Let's take a look at what's going on today. The SPY definitely going down significantly today, a low of 417.02, and we started above 420s. Definitely a takedown type of day. Let's take a look at what happened here as the SPY goes lower. And we did get this bounce that brought us back about 50% of retracement of this first down move in October. We went back up there towards kind of that 438, 440 range. We didn't get to the 440, would have been that perfect kind of gap fill back. Now rejecting and going through support. And I talked about how this 420 would be so important to try to hold on. And wouldn't you know it, Google with the takedown. And we drew this box just yesterday before the earnings came into play. This is why I think this show is that good of a watch. Because at the end of the day, I always give you guys outlooks of what I'm looking forward in the next day, not necessarily what's even going on just today. A lot of people are going to be talking about the action that's happening versus forward looking. So as we talked about, that if Google would be down in this space, working its way into that red, that we could get into this gap and make our way back to the 200 exponential moving average. This tells me enough. I'm looking for Google to continue down towards that 200 moving average now. And that's not a good look for the market, right? That's a move back on 122s for Google. So if you're looking for where you can maybe find some stopping action, that's probably the area that I'll be looking for. But Microsoft also, we talked about this. Would we open the day above the 342 level? And could that hold, right? You guys can see here, where did we open? Well, we opened above the 342 level. We opened at 346. But what happened? Quick takedown of that level, and we haven't been able to get back above that 342. So that's the level that I'll be watching to see if Microsoft wants to continue going. But if we fight this area and we keep fighting this area, we could see some more downside come in. Tesla was another good move out the gates, but look where it's ending now. Doesn't look good by any means. And of course, we got some major reports that will be coming tonight. I actually shorted one of these stocks and already have covered, making a great gain. Guess what stock that was? What stock could I have shorted that reports tonight? And I'm giving you guys the calendar to help you out here, that I made a great gain on today in, of course, the Trade the Pool account. You guys want to call on it? Let's see what you guys have in the chat. I'll put you guys to the test. What's going on out there, guys? What you guys see? And the SPY is on track to close below the 200-day, which is not a good move overall. And Johan got it right. Vic also. So I'll give you guys a shout out. Definitely Vic, Johan. And there you guys all come in there. The meta trade indeed. If you guys want me to pull that up, I don't mind pulling it up. I just got to pull up the Trade the Pool to kind of show you guys that. But just give me a second here. I'll start opening it up in a second. I'll show you guys it. But here you guys see it. Tesla definitely kind of getting that hit here. Let me go ahead and log in. At least I don't have to put in my password so everybody can, take a look at my password here. But you guys can at least see my screen here. There you guys see it. You'll see it come up. Boom. There you guys see me. Was able to make a nice little gain today, about 367, bounce back. Meta was one of my best trades. Airbnb, I went back after it after getting green some of the trades, stopped out break even. XLV, I tried to make a lot more in that one. I was up about like 160. And then eventually this thing did come back down. It just stopped me out in the wrong spot. It kind of hung out here, came back above this 127, then went to 126.40. If this would have happened before I got stopped out, I would probably have made like 300, 200 there. So it's not big stress there for me, but this meta trade was really good. This was one that I started trading through the 307 off that 308 and then just traded it down towards this wick. I took profits, as you guys can see, really close towards that 303 as we were coming back here and started the bounce here, but not a bad trade overall there on Meta. Let's go ahead back towards my TC charts. I'm going to close down the trade the pool charts here because I don't want to take another trade right now, even though I could maybe take some trades while this is on. I want to focus also on a swing trade that I opened up. So I haven't been taking many swing trades. Today I took a shot in AU. So I got this at 1863 and it's been hanging out here around the 1870 mark. So can gold go higher? Of course, this move had gone sideways, and then I saw it holding the 50 moving average, and it's made a couple of attempts to get towards 20. So I don't mind taking a shot here off the 18s, looking for that 20 run. We'll see what happens on that one. And that's a gold play, baby, because you know it. I love gold. I need to get that stream deck set up here, but let's keep going, team. Let's take a look at what else is going on, team. Powell's speak at 4. I don't think he's speaking at 4, Michael. If you do see somewhere that he is speaking at 4, please let me know, because at least from my knowledge, the Fed is on a quiet period, but who knows? I could be wrong there. Like always, put me to the test, team. All right, let's take a look at what else made a move on the day. Utilities going higher, and that was an interesting one. I was actually looking to maybe short the XLU today, and you could see it did come down, but bounced a little bit there. Defensive, of course, getting a little bit love as the market just kept hitting to the downside. Some people looking for some value out there, and you guys can see today General Mills getting a big move up here, and so these stocks had been hit really hard before this action had happened, before the market had pulled back. I mean, essentially General Mills just recently in October was down about 32%. So these stocks could be starting to, come back, right? The staples, maybe getting a little bit of love on the day, but will they continue to make a lift? I don't think so. Powell is speaking at 4:35 Eastern. All right. Well, that's something to maybe catch there. We'll see if he brings anything new. Honestly, I don't pay too much a close attention to the Fed anymore, because what really can they do at this point? They can raise 25 basis points, maybe one more in November, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think everyone's thinking that they're just going to stay where they're at and stay data dependent. At this point, they're not the important ones. I think the important ones are inflation and if recession is truly coming, right? Are we going to go into a global recession? Those are the types of things that I'll be focused on. But you know it. It's pumping Powell. He'll be out there pushing. He's due to deliver opening remarks at a school. Oh, then he's not going to give much there, guys. If that's really what he's doing, just opening remarks for a lecture, is he going to give anything about the economy? No, guys. So I think that's a nothing burger. You guys can tune in and check it out at 4:35. I know to tell you this much, guys, I don't think he's going to move the market. So I won't be paying attention too much to Jerome. But hey, to each his own. And I think that's a great added benefit that you just brought on, Solomon, at least giving us some information there. Fiona, what's going on out there? How we doing? It's good to see you in the chat. All right, guys, smash the like. Let's see what else is going in the market. Of course, some of these defensive names continued to bounce back, and I'm rolling through them so you can see that there was a theme there, right? Some of these are really starting to bounce back. This one actually interesting, Bell Ring. I don't know what that one is, but definitely you're seeing some of these starting to get a nice little push back. Farming products getting a little pushback after recently getting hit. Look how much of a downturn it's been in Tyson Foods. We're almost back down towards 2020 levels. We could actually blow through that on the downside and keep coming down. This doesn't look good there either. So you're like, okay, so where do I look, Mitch? Defensives are not doing well. Where can I go looking in this market? Well, to tell you the truth, there's not much out there right now that looks positive. Even energy that I started thinking about that maybe would get a little bit of a Chevron lift right back to the upside. Of course, they did that deal. And look at the last 2 days, guys. This is why I'm glad I got out when it was in the 164s. Yeah, I took a hit there and I could have maybe rode it back there towards the 170 and then got out there. But look what happened today. Complete takedown there in oil. And that's not what you want to see there, at least technically wise, on Chevron. And now you're getting that positive confirmation that you're getting that down move in the RSI and down move in the price action. This could really start to break. And this could really break energy overall. And if energy breaks and comes down, well, what can pull us back up? It's not going to be much, guys. Financial services, you guys know exactly how I feel about financial services. If you guys watch my video on the regional banks, just take a look at KRE today. What happens? Another leg lower, guys. And JPM, since the earnings, what has that done? Popped on earnings, straight down after earnings. Goldman Sachs, same thing, straight down after earnings. Bank of America, straight down after earnings. Just tells me something. Watch out there, especially in the financial space. Industrials also going lower. That doesn't look good. Caterpillar getting a major hit down, now down to 244. And that just goes to show me that, yeah, that little gap was a nice little gap that you could have been shorting. And that tells me watch out for Deere, that could go lower. And for car, I think that, this is a little bit of a trap on the move to the upside. I think this is setting up for another short here in Pacar, and it's going up while everything else in the space is going down. So that tells me that I could pay attention to this for a short. And you guys can see today it hopped up towards resistance and came right back down. RTX coming back down today. Boeing down 5% and going lower. This just doesn't look good there in Boeing. And just when I started to turn on Boeing, I remember there was a time where I was really bearish Boeing, and then it did start making its comeback and it started going above the 200. Ever since then, it feels like Boeing's just turned around. They gave me one good move up there to 240s. And then from there, it's just been a straight takedown move in Boeing. And I mean, just to mention, the airlines aren't looking too much better here as they keep going lower. So glad I cut American Airlines into the kind of the 1275, 1250 area when we first came into this versus sticking around and going for another 13% down. That's why it's so important sometimes to cut the swing trade and get back into other opportunities. The number one thing I don't like to do in swing trading is get caught in one name and not be able to trade another. So be willing to cut the position is so important. All right. Had two buttes on Boeing today. I mean, I hope you shorted it. If you went long, well, you got lucky there. But we'll see what happens there. Boeing definitely getting back up there to the 185s and then a smackdown right back down to support. Lockheed Martin still up. I would looking to see what happens in NOC. This is one that I've been waiting to see what happens because I saw this topping area, was expecting it to come back to the 480s, looking to see if we're going to make a move back to 500. Of course, that's a defensive name, so we'll see what happens there. General Electric had pretty good earnings, so we'll see if this can hang on here. It is in the industrial space, but it's not looking good, right? In the industrial space overall, not looking good there. All right, basic materials also down almost a full percent. And I've been talking about how I've been seeing deflation in the material names, and I can see continued downside come in for these names. So I think the coal trade is done. Yes, I said it, guys. And you guys know I love coal. So I'm going to start looking for these actually to turn back to the downside. And what does this look like on CEIX? Another head and shoulders at the top. So yes, these are stocks that I could start looking at potentially to maybe even go short. Like even AMR, it was looking like it wanted to come back. These coal names look like they can fall down in a hurry. Gold is one that I'm trying to take a little bit of a shot on a pullback. We'll see what happens, of course, if it can make the next step up. GOLD not looking too bad today, but coming down at the end here. I've been taking a look at this dust. And I was looking at this today to see what happens. Of course, this is the bearish one, and it kept rocketing to the upside today. So if you guys are looking for a way to play against gold, this could be a play too. So take a look at that. We'll see what happens if you guys want to play against my swing trade. By all means, you guys can do it. I'm trying to take a trade on AU to the upside. But if we come back down closer towards these gaps, of course, you could also make the money. And I got no problem with you guys playing against my way and playing another swing trade, right? That's the real great thing that I like to do is leave the opportunity open for you guys to also fade me. By all means, somebody has to make the money. What's going on out there? AAB, what about oil? Yeah, what about that oil move, man? I myself was looking to see if oil would get back up to 100 and if we would get back above the 90 on WTI. That is the important area that I've been seeing. Oil did get a little bit of a spike here recently around the 12 o'clock. It spiked from around below 83s up there towards 85s. But really, we need to get back into the 90 handle. on WTI. Of course, that's the futures front month crude oil. If you want to take a look at that, you can just search WTI. That's what I'll be watching to see if we get oil to come back. But right now, it isn't looking like it is. Even during a wartime, I would expect to see that pop, but still haven't gotten that pop. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at what else is going out there. Miguel, you're shorting Netflix from 414. Let's take a look at Netflix. Netflix is pulling back. Of course, they had a decent earnings gap that pushed them up higher. It got all the way up there almost to 420 today, 418.84. And you're shorting 414s. That's not a bad area. At least you know where your out's going to be in that case, right? And so I like it. It's not a bad stock. It's definitely going back down to support right now. We'll see if it's able to hold around this 410. Next stop from there is around 409.50s. But if you can get below that 409.50s, maybe you fill this gap to 407.77, and this isn't going to be looking too bad. And as Netflix drops, I would look for Disney to drop. And there you guys see it. This is the same thing that I've been playing for a little while. I know they're not hand in hand the same type of company. Of course, Disney has a whole bunch of different exposure. But every time that I see Netflix take a big downturn, I take a look to see if Disney is doing so also. And a lot of the times, the answer is yes. All right, let's keep going. We could take a look at some other stocks. You guys keep throwing up some names in the chat. At the end of the day, this show's also about you guys, not just what I want to take a look at. So keep throwing up those names and we can take a look. Jay's bringing an interesting stock that I saw down immediately out the gates, which is AMD, and it never came back, man. Finally breaking that 100 again. And this thing has been battling that 100 for a long time. So now that we're starting to get below the exponential moving average, the yellow line that you see here, the 50, next stop for support is 95. But if 95 doesn't act as support, I could see this 200 coming into play, which is a move back down towards 83. And you got to be careful with that move. NVIDIA just looked prime to reject the 440s move today. And I am like beyond pissed about this one, guys. I was trying to short NVIDIA today at the perfect spot. Just didn't get it by a single hair, man. And this one's a little frustrating one, man. This could have been a monster trade, probably maybe the best trade of the year. As I was looking to short 434.50s on NVIDIA today, and it came back to that 434.50 here. It was already down here in this 432 space. I missed it. Why? Because I was doing a little bit too much talking on live trading versus trading this move. But look at that move from the 434.50s mark. It came down to 428.50s all the way back to that level, got slightly above it, but didn't close above it. And then what happens right after that? Boom, knockdown, baby, back down to that 420. That's where I was really looking at this, to see this go back up here towards the 440. And you guys see I drew this line on the 9/14th, updated it on the 23rd. It's not like I updated it this morning. I'm not cherry picking on this. Literally, I drew this on the 23rd, looking to see resistance play in and come right back to the 420 area. Now I'm looking to see NVIDIA get into these gap zones. The next spot for me, 400 on NVIDIA. After that, I'll be looking to see if it gets into this big gap with the earnings. This could happen without the earnings, the 400 move. After that, we'll see if it goes to the 200 with the earnings. All right, what do you think about binary trading? I mean, that's like just buying an option and just sitting on it. It's nothing that I think is really something that you should look into, but that's just my personal opinion. You can always ask real financial advisors on that question. Personally, binary trading is not necessarily what I look for. I mean, that's just a 1-for-1 bet kind of a lot of the times. That's not what I'm looking for, at least. And Marty, we were looking for it, man. And this one's going to frustrate me. I'll tell you guys that just right off the back, because the number one way that I show weakness in trading is when I plan a trade and don't execute on it. So the important part there is, if you're going to take the time to do all the hard work, plan the levels. This is where I want to get short. This is where I want to take the risk and reward. This is a good setup. Now the time comes to execute. And at that time, you can't be doing too much thinking. You just got to go in pure execution mode and try to actually execute your plan. That's how you get to success. But man, shorting today at 430, 450s would have been a killer trade there on Nvidia. I mean, we're talking what, 4% down, 3% down in a day trade. That's ridiculous. Not a bad little move there on a stock like Nvidia, right? We're not trading penny name. That's Nvidia here. At least I was able to get that meta trade. That helped me out a lot, right? If I didn't get that meta trade, I'd probably be even more frustrated on these names. But it's a pure takedown attempt here today, guys. And the Q's not looking good either, guys. It tried to hold the 355 area, and now it looks like it's coming for the 200 exponential moving average, closer towards that 345. And we start to turn around the boat. And really, it looks kind of like when we got out of this period and now we're out of the bullish period. Could we make a move all the way down, probably like, let's say 50% retracement of this rally? I mean, it really could happen here. And I think that that's something that we need to start thinking about. That'd be a move back down to 325 on the Qs. If that happens, this isn't going to be looking pretty, guys. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going. Like you said in the chat, like you see in the title, Houston, we have a problem in the stock market, and it doesn't look good, guys. The only thing that can save us is maybe some earnings tonight, but Meta doesn't look good going into earnings. Maybe they lower the bar with getting hit so hard today, but it doesn't look good here. Let's also take a look at some other ones that we'll be reporting tonight, like IBM. This one's just off of a monthly support and has been hanging out on that monthly support for a good while. So you guys can see the monthly support right here and how it's been hanging on this 135 area. And recently it came back to the support, came all the way back above, pulled back to this 137. Will we get this to go back to 145? Or if it's back in the 130s, I don't know. This might go right back through that 120 spot. I know that a lot of people kind of know what IBM is, but to tell you the truth, that a lot of investors still trade this one. I don't see it mentioned by a lot of, especially the younger group of investors out there, but we'll see what happens on IBM. Also, you'll get some more earnings. If you guys have something on your radar, throw it up in the chat. MasterCard tomorrow. And I don't feel good about MasterCard either. I think that that's going to take a big hit down, as I've been calling about this head and shoulders pattern that I've been seeing in MasterCard for a good while now. And it's coming right back to this level. Let's see if it takes a big hit right through that 380s off of the report. And that's tomorrow at before the open. You also get UPS. We'll see what happens with that one if it does take a down hit. And then tomorrow after the close, you'll get Amazon. So keep your eyes on Amazon to see if it reverses the trend that it's just recently got in, which is not a good one. Look at the takedown attempt today below the 200 exponential moving average. Just shows me that Amazon was trying to make its move and now just got stuffed. We'll see what happens there if it starts to make its way back. All right, like always, guys, smash the like. We'll see what else is going in the market today. ARM at 49. I didn't even catch that one. Man, I was saying it like and it sounded bad, but I was saying it like a joke today on live trading that I could see it go right back through the 50. And boy, did I miss a trade on that one. Hourly resistance come into play. Fails, go through the support. Look for the support to act as resistance. Right around here, we got a nice little attempt to go back to the 51.75. And then boom, the ARM takedown, and not looking good on the daily chart. This is looking ugly. I talked about this recently, how the 50 would be so important. We got back up there, smackdown. This is also what's been holding back the semiconductors. I feel like if the ARM never came out, maybe you could have some stocks higher. But ARM just really kind of just showed us that even a stock that had a lot of hype going into the IPO can't get the move. All right, we'll see what else is going on in the market. Man, AMD down 4, CRM down 3, AVGO also down 3. This one let go. 1 attempt, 2 attempts, 3 attempts, 4. When you can't make it on that 4th attempt, where does it go? To support. So now we can maybe be looking for a move back down to 820s. I think this AVGO eventually comes for this 765. We'll see what happens on that one. Tomorrow, tech. We'll see if it can actually bounce back tomorrow. A lot of that will depend on Meta tonight. All right, guys, smash the like, guys. It's 3:59. We're about to wrap up the market. Let's see if we can see the first reaction in Meta right out the gates here as the market closes. And then up next, you guys, of course, will have the Dales report, guys. If you guys want to check in on a little bit of some cannabis action, psychedelics, and crypto. I know you crypto guys out there have been paying attention to what's going on in the ETFs. We'll talk a little bit about the House Speaker, of course, and that's coming up all after this. You guys got the Dales report. It's a podcast called Trade to Black podcast that talks all about those industries. So if you don't want to miss that with some new personalities from, of course, the Dales report, guys, that's what it's all about here. We're bringing you guys some more action, some fun watch. And I can tell you right now, I really enjoy the commentary from these guys. They definitely seem like they know exactly what's going on in the cannabis space. So if you want to keep up with that, hit the like button. All right, guys, Meta is starting to get a little bit of a lift here, 302, 301. So we'll see what happens with those earnings. How can you keep up with the earnings? Well, just catch the earnings call right here on Benzinga. And if you want to see the earnings come in live, we'll get pro.benzinga.com and get your 2-week trial already, team. We'll see you next time. Smash the like. Enjoyed you guys sticking around. And have you checked out my crisis video? The clock is ticking, guys. The regional bank action is not looking good. I've been pointing to it so much that I haven't even taken a trade on the short side on these in a couple of days now, because I just want you guys to see that, hey, man, I'm not trying to push any of my positions. I'm trying to give you guys the information. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to check out the link right there that I just dropped in the chat. We'll see you next time. Smash the like, team, and keep trading out there. And understand, this market isn't easy. A lot of the times, especially as day traders, you need to learn to hit the brake pedal and the gas pedals. As swing traders, the number one thing for me is cut those losses small and try to ride the winners. And when the market rotation comes against you, it's okay to go flat, no positions, so that you can understand what's going on in the rotation and maybe reassess the situation. I'll see you guys over on the Trade to Black podcast. That's coming up next, so don't go anywhere.